To introduce you to Jared and Jensen.
11 years now. He's been the blue tape and I've been the red tape. Explain what that means. So when we go to set and they set up our marks, sometimes we'll be changing to our Fed suits, Fed threads they call it. And so we'll get to set, it'll already be blocked. And every now and again we have a new worker in the camera department who's putting the tape down. And so there'll be blue tape, Jensen goes right to it, there'll be red tape, I'll go right to it. And they'll be like, oh no, y'all are switched. And we're like, but
no, we're not.
Burgundy or whatever you just kind of say it.
We're like trained canines. We go right to where we When, as some of you heard this, when I did a film years back, and they tried to use red tape day one. I'm like, listen, I'm gonna be honest. I can do it, but can I just suggest that you put blue and that way I don't have to think about it? So coming out here, this was kind of nice. What's up, Vegas?
What's up, season 12? Thank you. I love you. We love you. And we are officially going to be the show that never ends. We want to start dyeing our hair.
Oh, I think it's dying itself.
God is dying it. How's it going so far?
How was the concert last night? I'm sorry I missed it. It was either go to the concert and have a zombie of a Jensen today, or get some rest last night and be with you guys today. So sometimes you gotta pick your battles.
Well, since this isn't a Walking Dead convention, we didn't want the zombies.
So you know what zombies? Zombies won't last long on our show anyway, so.
Yeah, it's awesome to be here, guys. Obviously, this was a big weekend for us. I found out, I got a call from my manager who was like, hey, rumor mill is that you got picked up, but don't say anything yet. And I was like, all right. And so I reached out to some friends and they were like, yeah, you have 7 minutes and then you can announce it. So I was very excited. And it's really surreal.
I heard from him. He calls me, he's like, hey man, congratulations. I'm like, thanks. I'm just quickly going, like,
who is this?
All right, what happened, what's going on? Is my wife pregnant? Did she tell her? Or she told me?
She probably would have told Jen.
She probably would have told Jen first, who would have told you. Yeah, I would have found out eventually. And then, where did this come from? Yeah, such is life. I usually am the last to find out. Of course, then I go on my email and there's like 5 emails. I'm like, oh, I should probably check that sometime.
And we were down in Austin and we saw a movie called Gleason. Does anybody know sort of Steve Gleason? Yeah, so there was a football player from the New Orleans Saints. And he, I'm a Cowboys fan, obviously, but this was a great story. Yeah, but the Saints won the Super Bowl in 2007, and he had made this really amazing play, and then he ended up getting diagnosed with ALS, and he's just this inspiring, motivating, amazing guy who really kind of embodies always keep fighting, and he was there, and we went and saw this documentary, Cry Fest, for basically 2 or 3 hours. Pretty unabashed, just like doing my shirt. So that was our weekend. That was my weekend. A lot of that.
Yep.
Well, before we just jabber, let's get to the crowd, see what's going on. I see the green shirt, green hand.
So you guys have, hands down, the best crew ever.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, take it easy. It's early.
Sorry. Oh, wait, no. You guys have the best crew ever. I was actually in Vancouver last week and I had to go on set, and your crew is just the heart and soul. I love them so much. But the question is, there are so many loose ends the writers haven't tied up. Which are the storylines that you would like them to go back and readdress?
I don't want them to start tying up loose ends because that means they're going to tie up all the ends and I'll be out of a job.
There are so many though.
There are so many. I can think a few off the top of my head. I'd love to visit, see what's going on with Benny. I'd love to maybe figure out if Dean did kill Cain or if he didn't. So there's, yeah, so it's him. So there are, and this is, I'm kind of selfishly speaking because I really enjoy working with those two actors. But yes, there are a lot of those things that kind of questions that get asked, or maybe a scene that cuts just before we really understand. Now, I will say that coming up, there is an answer to a question that's been asked for quite a long time. Shh! I'm not going to give it away, they probably already know. I'm the last to know anyway, so.
Rob?
No?
Yeah, he's
not Rob.
getting warmer, getting warmer.
I will say that it is related to. It is related to Rob, but it is a question that's been asked for a long time.
I too, part of me would love for Dean to go back and revisit Benny and Cain, because that means I'm an awesome.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, Dean's with Benny, let's see what's going on with Sam.
Audience doesn't care. No, I mean, like, please don't care, so I can go back on. Maybe the Antichrist kid. I threw a sandal at him. And Adam.
Who?
Yeah, the name. Yeah, Voldemort.
I would like to see the heavenly celestial card game that's going on between John Winchester, Bobby Singer, Rufus.
I wish we could have posted that video already.
What video?
From Phil. When did we get the clearance? We have another.
Yeah, clearance, Clarence. Roger, what's our next
There's another really funny shaving people punching things 2-minute video that a lot of people ask what's it like behind the scenes, and this is a legitimate, like the cameras are just kind of running for 2 minutes and you see what happens in between 2 takes in its entirety cut together, and it's pretty funny. I laughed out loud and rewatched it. And I was getting my tire fixed because my wife had a chuck hole and the tire exploded, so I had to go like wait at the GMC dealership, and so I was like, oh, I got an email, so I'm sitting there going, that's all right. But yeah, you know what, also, realistically, I was a huge fan of the first season of Lost, and I might like the rest of it. I haven't had the chance to sit down and watch it all. But when season 2 started, one of the things I didn't like, and sometimes a loose end is tied up, and like, I think J.K. Rowling and J.R. Tolkien were geniuses at how to tie up on loose ends with no more questions asked. But sometimes tying up a loose end just to tie it up can kind of jump the shark, right? So I think these are questions that they're like, well, let's kind of keep it in the ethosphere. So maybe we'll never get to answer those questions, but hopefully if we go long enough, they'll keep bringing us back.
I mean, you guys come back when we get it, so.
All right, how about right there behind you in the red? Yep.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
First, I just want to say really quick, thank you for always doing liquor face, because I bartend here in Las Vegas, and nobody is immune to liquor face, and everybody, it pisses me off when somebody, like, some self-proclaimed badass takes a shot at something that makes no sense.
That pisses me off too.
Yeah.
In fact, there are 2 things things that, I'm going to say three things that I notice when I watch other movies or television series that I'm like, that I almost have to turn it off and not watch it anymore.
What are they?
It's one, liquor face. It's two, somebody driving a car and never checking the mirrors or checking their surroundings.
Yes.
Or going like this. Well, I told you, the last time, it's like, well, they just hit a wall. This is
With the one caveat that it worked in Dumb and Dumber.
unless it's for comedy purpose, yes. But that drives me crazy. And then the third thing is actors who look at their marks.
Yes.
So when they do this, listen to me. It's like you gotta just learn how to not look at your. That's 101 acting there. That's so. Anyway, those three things drive me crazy. But thank you, because yeah, when you take a shot of whiskey, it's not just like a shot of water.
Yeah, and nothing tells you it's water faster than nobody making that like
Exactly.
face.
Well, I will keep this in mind. Sometimes it is real. So it's really like Russian roulette. We never know. So
One of us usually knows.
and that is why we trained ourselves. Regardless of if it's water, it's oh, that was just water.
My favorite, some people know the story, and there's going to be one bad word, but for his sake, I'm going to say it. The late, great Kime Mэнnerse, we were shooting the episode Touched or Angels or Houses of the Holy, whatever it was called. Touched Angels, Houses of the Holy. It changed names like 15 times. And the end scene where Dean walks in and kind of like says, I had a weird experience, hands a flask to Sam, and I hand it back. It was a pretty emotional scene, and we weren't really sure what to make of it just yet because the show hadn't gone in that area. We're like, how do we treat it? Do we treat it like it's a zombie? Do we treat it like maybe the boys are hopeful that there are angels and then possibly demons? Anyways, somebody, I legitimately don't remember if it was Jensen or me, put Jack Daniels in the flask. And so, it must have been you, because I didn't know. Yeah, because the scene is he walks in and takes a drink, and then he hands it to me, and I kind of take a drink. And I remember doing it on camera the first time, being like, and so a few takes of that, and Manners comes in to give us some direction, as a director does. And Ackles just kind of like undoes the flask, leaves it up to Manners, and Manners is like, wow! Ackles is like, here you go. Manners goes, you fucking idiots, here. And that was it. It was like Winners giving us direction and walked back. He wasn't pissed. We were getting the work done. He was like, idiots. Like, here you go, idiots. Rest in peace.
So, yes, so there's a question here somewhere.
Yeah, sorry,
Right. I went off on my bad.
I don't get it. So my question is, both Jared and Nisha now have had the opportunity to play characters who aren't their normal character, like the Dreeling, who's her, Jimmy, Meg,
So was
that was kind of my So, all of Dean's evolutions have, like Purgatory Dean and future, now past Dean, and Demon Dean have all been, like, actual evolutions.
Refer to him as Glimpse Dean.
They've all been actual evolutions of Dean's character.
It was a glimpse, it wasn't actually telling the
You
future.
can't call him Glimpse Dean.
It was
Too late.
because he was saying, listen, this is what could happen if this happens. So here's a glimpse in your future of repercussions that will happen if you don't do A, B, and C.
The point is, there's got to be a better name than
So it wasn't like, this is the future. It's, this is the future if.
I do have a question.
This is 12 years, basically.
Yeah.
We need to solve this. See, it's not Glimpse, it's Glimpse.
Hi. In the red there? What's your name?
Jensen, are there any characters that you would since we have a whole other season now, like to explore and get to like shrug off the comfortable jacket of Dean and maybe try and play somebody else for a little bit?
No, I am so comfortable. I am happy in the Dean world. That, you know, I will say yes, because it has always been just versions of Dean. Even though Demon Dean, it was still Dean. So there is always the common denominator of having Dean as the base of whatever version of that I play. Yes, he's had to play different versions of Sam, but also different characters. So I don't think I've really had to do that. And I don't know. That's not been a decision of mine. I don't write the show. I'm not responsible for the storylines. I just kind of do what they tell me. If I have a major problem with it, obviously I'll take it up with the writers, but I've never really had to do that. So I don't know whether that is a conscious decision on the writers to be like, you know, we don't want to get rid of Dean. We need Dean to stay him in order to facilitate these other characters going rogue. Or to take care of that, or whatever it may be. The reason that they haven't made me play somebody else is I don't know, it's a mystery to me. So maybe they will, I don't know.
Do you remember the one time you did go to bat, well, the most recent time you really went to bat with the writers? It made it to the gag reel. You directed the episode.
Oh yeah, the hammer.
The hammer versus the knife. And so finally, he really wanted the ball peen hammer, and the writers wanted the knife. And
For the Demon
Dean to chase him around.
season.
And so finally, when we free him from Demon, we're like, why did you grab a hammer? Why did you grab a knife or something? All right, next. Okay, Mark. Oh yes, please keep it down a bit. It's really loud. Someone's hungover. Do I know numbers? 14, 64, 19, 7, 25. If you win, we split. You're way over there. I see. Yes, you. Yes.
Hi. You guys talk about joking around a lot. What's the longest it's ever taken you guys to actually get a scene, and like how many takes did it take?
Good question.
There was well-documented talks and panels of Misha telling a story of him actually not being able to complete his scene until we were removed from the sound stage.
It's as if he was shooting a scene here. He was like, I need you to leave. And we went to the hallway. He's like, no, I need you to leave the casino. And we were just laughing so hard that we didn't really realize, and that we had been used to it.
And at first we were like, you know, yeah, whatever. And he turned to our first AD, I believe it was Johnny back at the time. And he's like, Johnny, I'm not gonna do it. It's just pointless at this point to do the scene with either of these guys in the building. And Johnny just turns and very seriously goes, guys, take a walk. We were like, seriously? Like, yeah, Robin, can you just come in here and read both Jared and Jensen's lines, please, so Misha can actually get his coverage?
Hey, Mark.
Jared, Jensen, seriously, guys, go, walk, take a walk. I'll get Cliff in here to remove you. That's fine. So that one took a while. There was also some earlier years where Jared's gastrointestinal issues would clear a set for about a half an hour. It's interesting, since he got married and had kids, not much issue. Jen really worked her magic on you, buddy.
Getting old. I stopped working out so much, I stopped eating so much protein.
There was just so much junk. But what is, generally, it's self-inflicted time wasting that takes up so much time. It's very rare that it is something technical or some sort of crew mistake. Those guys are all pros, and they're there just to watch us mess up. The other day we had like a light go down in called a BFL, which is a condor, and it's big effing light, BFL. So those are the big lights you see up in the sky, and that went down. Well, that takes a lot. You've got to like lower an 80-foot platform down. You've got to replace the bulb. So that's 45 to an hour right there. Wow. That rarely happens. Usually it's just him and I screw it off.
Thank you.
Yes, right here in the glasses.
Okay, so I was a fan of One Tree Hill long before I ever watched Supernatural, so my family, we all know Danielle before we do you. So I get my family, I'll go home from convention and I'll be like, you know, Jensen did this, and they're like, which one's Jensen? I'm like, Danielle's like, so it's kind of interesting.
So
Change.
if you say Jared did this, you'd be like, Danielle's not husband.
So my question is, if you could create a character for Danielle to come on the show as, because obviously Genevieve's been on the show, what role would you have her on the show as? Because I love her.
Me too. I don't know. Knowing her as well as I do, I think it'd be, she would have more enjoyment playing a evil character. She's so good.
Tread lightly. Yeah. My wife already played an evil character.
It's the evil ones that are the nicest in real life. Wow, thank you.
Hail Mary.
Yeah, it was. It was too. I don't know. I think it would be something in the lines of some omnipotent power of, you know,
Badness.
of badness. The darkness is certainly Amaro is a great character, and I think that I hope that kind of pans out to be as good as I think it could be. That would something kind of in that vein, I think, would be great for my wife. Yeah.
Thank you.
Third row, third seat. Yes, you. Hi, wait. Or were you just stretching?
No, I got the question. Good morning.
Good morning, that wasn't your fault. It was Jared's fault.
So my first con, there's a question about a wrestling move, and you demonstrated the Apollo, which is fantastic. And so with the wrestling episode this year, did you have an opportunity to use it off screen or not?
I did not get to that.
No, and the scene in the ring where Dean gets in the ring and starts jumping around.
It's funny.
So this is why I love Phil. That was, I think it was like maybe 1 or 2 takes, and all I did was roll into the ring, get up, bounce off, I think the ropes once, do the Ric Flair, and then run over and climb up onto the corner there, and then I get busted. So they cut and repeated all of that stuff so much to where it looked like I was in there for like a half an hour. I did one take, and I guess Phil thought it was just so good that he was like, okay, we're just gonna, as though I got out of the ring and got back in like 5 times. I just did it once, but they edited it to where it looked like I was messing around there for quite a while. Yeah, so had I known that they were gonna make such a meal out of it, I probably would have done some other moves. Luckily, I had Mike there, who kind of he was like, dude, you gotta do the Ric Flair. And I was like, well, which one? Because he was kind of known for a few things. And he's like, this one, and he did it like perfect. And I'm like, all right, that's what I'll do. Boom, I did it. And Mike was like, man, it took me like 5 years to learn how to do that. Well, I can imitate. I can't come up with it myself. And so yeah, so it was really quick, and but I didn't get a chance to do as much as I would have hoped to do had I known that they were going to cut such a big section together. So, oh well, next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Where are we at? How about with the phone up there?
What was that scream?
Color.
Color.
So you know.
Red.
Okay, comment first. It is so refreshing to have the boys talking to each other this season.
Oh,
I was sitting in my living room just knowing that Dean was not going to tell Jared that his deepest desire was the darkness. And you did. You told him. And that
Well, I told Sam. He told Sam.
Yes, you told Sam.
But Jared heard.
Anyway, I almost fell out of the chair. I was like, oh my God. I was just saying, he's not going to tell him. He's not going to tell him. He's going to go again. But you did. And that was refreshing.
You're welcome.
My question is, since season 12 is coming, are we going to see some directing again next season?
From moi? I don't know. In fact, we just had a sit-down conversation with Mr. Singer, and until we're finished with this season, they don't really start lining those slots up. They have ideas, and they'll put those offers out to the agents and the directors and stuff like that. With me, it's a little different because it's kind of in-house. So they just kind of have to, ask me if I want to, and then I need to think about whether or not I want to commit. Because I will warn you, it is, or I will tell you, it's an exhausting endeavor. I can't imagine doing a full feature film, the way that some of these guys do. But the real thing is you're doing an episode of television like our show. You have, a week to a week and a half of prep time. And before that, you're reading and breaking down the script and trying to get ideas of what you want to do. Because it's all up to you. You got all 80 people staring at you saying, what do you want us to do? And that can be pretty daunting. So to break that down, then to prep, then to facilitate and film, and then to go into post-production and edit and do all that stuff, it's almost a month of draining experience. So that's why you don't see directors shoot one episode after another. They'll shoot, Bob, Phil, they'll shoot 4 a year out of 23 episodes because they need that recovery time. Well, I don't get that recovery time because I go right back to actually being Dean and filming for the next 9 months. And so to start out, stop it! To start out, it's like sprinting the first 4 miles of a marathon, and then going, okay, now we're going to need you to continue to jog for the rest of the, whatever it is. So it's I'll have to talk if they allow me to do it. If they say, yeah, it's up to you. I'll have to sit down and talk with Daniil and be like, all right, can we go through this again? I will say there's a lot of enjoyment that I get out of it, and there's a lot of it's just, to be able to be in a space like we were talking about the crew earlier. We do have an amazing crew, and I know a lot of people say, a lot of actors, the crew is amazing, but I mean, we really have family. We've been with these people for over a decade, a lot of them, and to be in an environment like that, and to know that they're not going to let you fail is just it's an inspiring thing, and to have people that you can lean on for ideas or support it's a pretty incredible thing. I've been very fortunate to do, I think, 5 episodes now. So hopefully it works out. If not, that's okay. Maybe there'll be a season 13 and I'll do one. But I will say that after our conversation with Bob, I think if things work out, with deals and agents and contracts and stuff, I think they're going to bring back a few directors that you guys will be very happy to have. So I know we will.
I see 2 people waving their arms, and I don't know if they both have a question, but if so, I want y'all to fight. Like Donald Trump, fight each other.
No, she's my mom.
Okay.
I'm about to have a heart attack.
It looks like your sister. All right. It's often the most evil people who are the nicest.
Anyway, I really want to know, Jim Beaver said earlier that you guys did not have, I don't think, the ability to prank him good enough. He issued a challenge, and I really want to know how you're going to retaliate to that.
I didn't realize we had a challenge. Now that I know, now the creative juices are flowing. He's difficult to prank. I remember one time when he was laying in the hospital bed, rolling his little sheet up and getting his big toe and going like, just squeezing on it. And
I remember staring at that and then looking at him like how's that not? And just stone faced. I'm not going to do it.
He said that was the worst you've ever done. Anymore.
There's some of the
Joke's on us, he has no feeling from the knee down.
There's a prosthetic toe. He wears fake feet outside of his actual feet in preparation for me. That's a good question. All right. Gauntlet has been thrown. Challenge something. We're going to think of it.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, I think we got one more question. Last question. All right, you did a glittery sign. Let's do that one.
You knew he'd go for the glitter, didn't you?
Yep.
Always does.
Shiny object.
Sparkles.
Good morning.
All right.
So, birthday.
Oh, it's not my birthday, but thank you.
My birthday.
Oh, thank you. Very related. My birthday's in July.
Okay, birthday.
My favorite thing on that note, my favorite thing is like when driving around on December 26th or 27th or January 1st, when you see people with Christmas lights still up, you're like, man, they're really putting them up early, huh?
All right, Sparkles, what do you got?
I know you have your directions, and there's the script and the storyline. But really, do you ever sit there and go, why did Dean not answer his phone? Why did Cass trust, why did Sam trust Crowley? Because that's worked out so well in the past for you. I mean, how do you justify it to yourselves? Because you're going, oh no, Dean's an idiot.
Yeah, what do you think? What do you like your tone? Oh yeah,
Let's not forget, I picked you.
He raised you from perdition.
And I will put you back.
To perdition.
Yes, of course, over the past 200 and...
Bunch.
Good question. Yeah, so over that many episodes, sure, we read things, we're like, what? But, you know, we're also...
238.
Johnny on the spot here. But we also know that, you know, that this is, we're invested, and we know that these questions sometimes get asked for a reason, or these actions sometimes have meaning that we don't necessarily see right away. Maybe it's just to set up a storyline. Maybe it's to set up Sam going to hell and talking to Lucifer, or Dean, you know, missing that call so that he can't stop Sam going to, or whatever it is. There's generally a method to the madness, and we have to trust that the writers have a method, and so far they have. So, you know, we hope you do too.
The only times that I feel like, Sam, Dean, you're such idiots, is when it's actually like a fight scene scenario where maybe we finished most of the sigil with like a finger, and demons run in, and we're like fighting them and losing, and then finally we put the finger up and they explode. You're like, why didn't they just do it the second the demon? You shoot like, clap your hands if you believe, or clap your hands if you understand, or whatever. Clap your hands if you believe.
Oh, that's exactly.
Sam's fighting the fairy, and all he has to do is like pour salt open, and he's getting beat up and thrown across the room, and finally he's about to die, and he like pours salt, and so the guy starts picking up the salt or whatever and counting it. I actually added the line, like, why did I do that in the first place? And we have something else coming up like that, where you're like, why don't they just finish this, which would have taken a millisecond before getting beat up for like 15 hours.
Because then they wouldn't have the scene of them getting beaten up, and the bad guy wouldn't have been able to give his exposition about why he's doing what he's doing. There's 100 times when it's like, they are highly trained, they've been doing this their entire life. How when they get thrown across a room, does their weapon always get high in a place that they can't find it?
Why isn't that?
You know, like, first of all, two things. One, whenever we do actually get flown or get sent flying off of whether it's an air ram or whether it's we throw ourselves, the instinctual thing to do is to grip tight. So I've actually had to tell my stunt double, Todd Scott, multiple times, dude, you gotta lose the knife when you get thrown through the closet. And he's like, right, got it. Every time. So, right there, it's just like, but again, then we would be armed and we would just kill the person and they wouldn't be able to choke us and tell us what they're doing and why they're doing what they're doing. None of us would know anything. So,
And then also, we wouldn't be able to get saved by our brother.
that's right. Love y'all guys. All right, guys, we'll see y'all.